My name is Stephanie Fox, and I serve on your fellowship board. Welcome to everyone today, whether you're here or online. Hello, Zoom people. If this is your first time or your 100th time, we are delighted that you're with us. Now, the best way for newcomers to get more information is to sign our virtual guest book, either with the QR code that's on the back of your program or out at the welcome table that's out in the fireside room. But everyone, please stick around for coffee and treats after the service. And online folks, you too have an opportunity for conversation after service. Just stay in your Zoom room. Announcements. As you have probably heard, tomorrow, Highland Avenue will be under construction. Please see the start of last Friday's weekly email for details. Click the orange banner on our website or grab a handout on your way out. If you're not accustomed to looking at your weekly email, start looking at your weekly email so you can figure out how to get here or how you otherwise want to participate in the service. Now, today's Social Justice Circle will meet at 11:15 down in room 3. So please join us to learn more about how we're working for greater justice in our community. And all are welcome to today's art reception, featuring our new art by Catherine Hensley, music from Lot Music Studio musicians, including our own Madison Mayfield, and plants from local back alley houseplants. Enjoy the sights and sounds of spring, that's a lot of S's, and summer, while you sip and munch on tasty treats. Today, 2:30 to 4:30 here on the main level. Again, welcome and thanks for joining us.
I'm Heidi Neeson, and I'll be reading a poem from Lyrical Iowa 2018. And fun fact, one of my poems from 5th grade is in there, and I actually read it on KHOI. But today I'll be reading Expecting Dragons by Margaret Flint Suter from Hampton, Iowa. I set out expecting dragons, scales of shimmer, eyes of gold. Fire shot across a valley floor, crackling autumn leaves into blackened lace. When the eagle tips in the final sunset ray, flashing his white tail and dipping his bald head, skimming just above my camera, my joy is infinite. My flight, fancy or plain, the gift of feathers never disappoints. And even while I continue in the corner of my eyes, a heart, expecting dragons. Come, let us gather in fellowship.
Please join with me. Dr. King said, Only when it is dark enough can you see the stars. We light this chalice as a symbol of our commitment to curiosity, courage, and compassion, to justice and to peace.
Not all of our songs come with an introduction, but today, a little introduction before we stand and sing. For many years, this congregation has sung its children out to the words of the old spiritual, "This Little Light of Mine." For a congregation of predominantly white folks, to sing songs from the African American tradition calls us to special care and understanding of what they meant in the context in which they were written and sung. "This Little Light of Mine" is a beloved gospel song with a rich history. Many of you may have grown up singing it. I did, and I didn't know this. I wasn't taught this. It was initially written as a children's song around 1920 by African-American Harry Dixon Lowes. It later became a powerful anthem in the civil rights movement in the 50s and 60s, and it was especially associated with figures like Fannie Lou Hamer. The song's simple, repetitive lyrics, which the Unitarian Universalist Association changed for our own uses, made it simple and easy to learn and sing together. After we sing it today, we're going to retire this song for a while. So when we come back in the fall for religious education, you can look for a new song that we'll sing our children out with, probably "Be the Change." We've sung that a few times, and Madison has rewritten it for us in a better key, so it'll be easy to sing, and we'll have a new song in our repertoire to sing over and over again. It's not that we won't ever sing "This Little Light of Mine" again. We're not retiring it forever. But it's helpful for us to know the context of it. And so today, as we stand, as you are willing and able, to sing with gusto all three verses in the Unitarian Universalist vein, we're not going to put our light under a bushel. No, I'm going to let it shine. That's not what we're doing today. But we'll retire it after that. So enjoy, please.
This morning, we recognize the volunteers who make our religious education program not just possible, but joyful, meaningful, and alive. Each week, these volunteers show up a little early and stay a little late, roll with the unexpected, and create the kind of space where children and youth feel seen, supported, and deeply valued. They listen more than they speak. They model kindness, flexibility, and curiosity. They offer not just their time, but their presence. And while they may not always know what impact they're having in the moment, they are part of something much larger, a shared ministry of relationships that helps our young people grow into who they are meant to be. So, to all of our volunteers, we see you, We are grateful for you, and we are so glad you're part of this team. Reverend Kelly, can we read the names of our volunteers? Yes, let's do that. Holly Bignall,
Sarah Carlson,
Peggy Earnshaw,
Shawnee Emmett,
Maya Hazlett,
Molly Helmers,
Deborah Kumar,
Cheryl Lawson,
Molly Lee,
Jamie McCauley,
Nicole Osey,
Sam Osey,
Robin Sin,
Joe Smith.
and J.D. Wittenbrink.
Let's thank them.
Do you wanna?
I get to be Carol Merrill.
Yeah, so of course it wouldn't be RE Sunday without a little parting gift. Last year we had picnic blankets, so in keeping with our picnic theme, we have coolers. And these are a small token of our deep, thank you. Our thanks for the joy you bring to this community. So you're officially equipped for a summer of snacks, sunshine, and well-deserved rest. RE volunteers, you can pick these up in the fireside room after the service. And speaking of growth and imagination, I want to share our third and final story in our series on the practice of imagination. It's called The Garden of Possibility. Once upon a time, there was a garden, but not the kind with rows of vegetables or tidy flower beds all in a line. No, this garden was different. This garden was made entirely of ideas. Some were tiny, like a wish for a friend, and some were loud, like a shout for justice. Some were silly, like a plan for flying shoes or libraries for squirrels. And some were so full of hope they practically glowed, like the dream of a world where everyone belongs. In this garden, ideas were planted by children and grown-ups, and they didn't need water or sunshine, although those helped. They needed something even more powerful. They were the tools we have inside of us that we've been talking about: action, courage, love, and imagination. Over time, the garden began to change. Some dreams grew tall and strong. Some needed replanting. Some took a while and then bloomed when no one expected it. And some are still growing even now. The garden was wild, and it was beautiful, and it was a little messy, and that's what made it real, because it was built not just from one imagination, but from many. So let's take a look at some of the things that grew in our garden this year. Well, we had another wonderful year together, and we began in August with our annual backpack blessing. But instead of just blessing the backpacks, we also shared the best advice we've ever received. From the practical to the profound, your wisdom filled our bulletin board, and it grew bigger and brighter with new additions. In September, we held our teacher orientation. We reviewed curriculum, safety policies, classroom logistics, and all the important stuff, like where to find a vacuum in a crisis. But we also did something more personal. Each volunteer shaped a small object from air-dry clay that symbolized their personal faith, and we added them to a shared altar, one that reflects the many paths and hopes we carry into this work together. Here's a picture, and here's the altar itself. Yeah, and it's covered by the altar cloth that we've been working on collectively over the last few months, I guess, as our soul work. So it's set up here today in the service, and you're invited to add to it during the service this morning with items that you can create at the soul work table. So feel free to get up and move around, make something, bring it up here anytime during the service. The more movement and sound we have in here today, the better. In October, we participated once again in the Interfaith Multi-Generational Pride Service at Memorial Union, along with Reverend Kelly and our other fellow religious professionals in Ames. We helped create a grace space for families and offered a time for all ages and other worship elements that reminded us that every kind of love belongs. That same month, our children and youth decorated pumpkins for UNICEF and displayed them in the fireside room for the second year in a row. The congregants voted their favorites with donations, and we raised about $350 for a good cause. In November, we expressed our gratitude for one another by adding leaves to our community's gratitude tree bulletin board that grew fuller with all your words of appreciation for one another. In December, we gathered for the Snow Tree, a puppet pageant told and performed by people of all ages. It was whimsical, a little chaotic, and absolutely filled with heart. And I wish we had more pictures. The one we do have is of the beautiful tree we decorated together as part of the story. It's a perfect symbol of what we built together this year, a celebration of shared creativity and community. In February, we jumped into Mystery Pals with a Percy Jackson twist. We exchanged clues, identities were kept secret, and we ended the month with a lively reveal party, complete with a Greek pantheon-themed photo booth. The costumes were so incredible. And through the whole year, Jamie McCallie and I continued leading monthly children's chapels. And this is one of my favorite moments from this children's chapel in March. This is Jamie guiding the children through a progressive muscle relaxation exercise. So it's an intentional breathing and body awareness practice. And you can see in the picture just how focused they were on her. And these moments may seem small, but they build spiritual tools our kids carry with them long after they leave our classrooms. That same month, our high schoolers completed our Whole Lives OWL program, a comprehensive sexuality education curriculum rooted in our UU values. And it was a big milestone for them, and we're proud of this group for showing up, engaging deeply, and finishing strong over lunch. In April, Reverend Kelly and I led a special intergenerational service we called the Dirt Communion. Together, we reflected on what it meant to plant seeds of hope, nurture growth, and trust the process, even when we can't see the results right away. We blessed handfuls of soil, filled tiny peat pots, and tucked bean seeds inside. And here's one of the beans that's been growing. It's a quiet reminder that faith formation, like gardening, often takes time. We water, we wait, and eventually something begins to sprout. And just a couple of weeks ago, we celebrated a major milestone in the life of this congregation, Reverend Kelly's installation. The kids created paper flowers for our Blooming with Hope bulletin board and presented her with a multi-generational charge. Their words offered guidance, encouragement, and love as she stepped formally into her role. And 2 Sundays ago, we wrapped up our Children's Chapel series with a celebration of imagination in action. We set up science magic stations where children explored bubbling potions, invisible ink, and fizzy chemical reactions. As usual, I was too busy to actually get any photos, but Holden in our pre-K class gave me this gift. It's an invisibility potion he made himself, and he assured me it absolutely works, and I plan to try it next week. So if you don't see me around the office, that's why. And then throughout the year, in pre-K and second grade, we used Legos to explore our UU values: justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, independence, and generosity. Through stories, play, and building together, the children made meaning out of these big concepts in small, joyful ways. And here are a couple of our Lego self-portraits. Our 3rd through 5th graders worked through Windows and Mirrors, a curriculum designed to help them understand how their experiences shape the way they see the world, and how Unitarian Universalism helps them view that world with curiosity, compassion, and courage. And each week, they added something new to their artboards. So if you look around on our gallery wall over here, we have a vibrant reflection of their spiritual journeys and the creativity they brought to every session. Meanwhile, our middle school group created entire worlds through our collaborative world-building curriculum. They designed landscapes, cultures, characters, and dilemmas, and along the way, explored identity, community, and justice through storytelling. It was part creative writing, part values exploration, and 100% wild and wonderful. Beyond the classroom, we engaged in faith formation together as a whole congregation often and in a lot of ways. The most recent opportunity to do this was in late April when we hosted a sign-making event for the May Day rallies. Families, individuals, children, and elders came together to create messages of hope and justice. We had folks from all generations participating, from a tiny infant I have affectionately dubbed our boss baby, to parents and grandparents helping younger ones. This is what it looks like when a congregation takes seriously the work of raising UU children. This is what it means to grow spiritually, create community, strive for justice, and learn to love together. So, if you've ever wondered whether your ideas matter, they do. If you've ever wondered whether your imagination makes a difference, it does. You've planted more than you know, and this garden we've grown together is still growing, and our story continues. And if you would like to be a gardener, here's a helpful QR code that will take you right to our volunteer sign-up form, or you can also find me in the fireside room after the service.
Wow, such a lot to do in a year. Amazing. Thank you, thank you. When we gather, we take a moment to give and receive. Two tests of the religious life are our capacity to give and receive. And each month, we give half of our non-pledge offering to an area, agency, or association that aligns with our values. This month and all through May and today, we are giving half of our non-pledge offering to Undue Medical Debt. This organization strives to end the uniquely American injustice of medical debt. They do so by purchasing debt at a negotiated rate, receiving the obligations for debtors with no tax consequences for them or the donors. And since their founding in 2014, they've relieved over, get this, $15 billion for nearly 10 million people. We're not asking you to give $15 billion today. We're asking if you are able to be generous in supporting this organization that helps get our neighbors out from under undue medical debt. Of course, the other half of our offering stays here in the building to help make this a place of community, spiritual growth, love, and justice. We pass the baskets here in Fellowship Hall, but if you're online or you have a cell phone, you can give via our website. And if you're visiting today, please know that your presence with us is gift enough. Milo? Thank you, Milo. And each week when we gather, we take a few moments to remember that our lives are connected one to another, to remind ourselves of the value of a moment of stillness, and to remember that we hold each other's stories, that our burdens are lightened and our joys are expanded as we share them with each other. We have a few items to share this week. Trish Straw fell and broke her knee last week. She had surgery on Tuesday to repair the bones and is healing at home. The Straws do also have some happy news to share. Their daughter-in-law, Sergeant First Class Kelly, was able to return from her almost year-long deployment in Kuwait in time for her son's graduation from high school. So thank you for your service, Sergeant Kelly, and good healing to you, Trish, and congratulations to your grandson. Jenny Molgard had some complications from a recent carpal tunnel surgery. They've figured out the issue, and Jenny is healing at home. And Nancy Tepper fell and broke 3 ribs, but that does not slow Nancy up. She was able to go on and have Mother's Day on the day that it happened. She was here last night. She's here today. Nancy reminds us not to be distracted when we're walking. So thank you, Nancy, for reminding us that and being here. I want to take a moment. We're going to, in just one moment, we're going to wave at this camera to say hello to our online folks. 3, 2, 1. Hello, online folks. We know you're part of this circle as well, and we're grateful for you. Let's take a few moments of quiet to remember how our lives are connected one to another. And into this shared quiet space, please lift up the names of individuals or people that you are particularly holding on your hearts today so that we may hold them as well. We practice expanding our hearts. We hold, because we're thinking especially about children and youth today. We think of children and youth who are in harm's way. We think of children and youth who are hungry or insufficiently housed or in danger in their homes. We hold space for people who are navigating mental health issues, especially children and youth who are navigating mental health issues, who don't feel safe in expressing their sexuality. We hope safety, and we work for safety for all our children and youth. Let's sing together. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love.
Good morning. I've been asked to share my experiences teaching high school OWL for the past year. First definition, OWL is Our Whole Lives, a program about human sexuality. Human sexuality, for the purposes of this class, is much more than your basic reproduction and consent and how not to get pregnant and how not to get an STI. Those are all definitely included, but there's a lot more about behaviors, identity, caring, how to figure out what you want and are comfortable with, and how to communicate that information with others, all wrapped up in UU values. Also, lots of information about human bodies and pleasure. Everything from kissing to everything else. I thoroughly enjoyed teaching OWL with Sam Osey and Dana Pass. Dana, I consider a co-teacher. She was in the classroom a few times, but she was with Sam and I every step of the way. Dana took care of the handouts. She found and uploaded videos for classroom viewing. She found our guest speakers. She organized the parent meetings. She was extremely important and very supportive and helped us decide how to deal with different questions as they came up. Sam and I jumped in with both feet. We'd both been through the OWL training for middle school and high school classes, because you have to be trained to talk about this stuff. Sam had completed his training before COVID. I did mine a few months before the class started. We pooled our knowledge, learned each other's strengths in planning and classroom management and things like that. And by the second or third week, we were really comfortable with each other, talked about all the different things we needed to talk about with the students, and had each other's backs. Now, this is the first high school RE class I have ever taught. And I know I chose OWL, right? There was a specific reason I did this. Somebody years ago taught middle school OWL for my daughter, and I wanted to repay that kindness. So I knew when I got here I would need to get involved in OWL to square the circle there. Now, the kids, the young people. This group of high schoolers knows each other pretty well. They've been together for a while, so I think that helped with the discussions in the class. What was interesting was that Sam and I were the outsiders, the ones they really didn't know all that well. I was kind of a total unknown. They told their truths, and at times it was really uncomfortable and awkward to hear that and realize that there really wasn't much I knew about the world they lived in, the world as they saw it and they experienced it. They paid lots of attention, asked lots of good questions, but they paid attention as multitasking young adults. So while the cell phones were put away, the table was littered with coloring books, markers, colored pencils, crayons, scissors, tablets with drawing programs on them. They couldn't sit still, and they didn't unless we had an activity for them to do, and then they were all hands on deck. These are good people. They're very caring. They cared about each other. They actually, I think, ended up caring a bit about Sam and I as adults. But it was really cool getting to know them, because that's an age group I knew almost nothing about. I won't lie, it wasn't all sunshine and roses. There were questions that Sam and I could not answer. Sometimes the answer ended up being, it depends. Sometimes the answer was, we don't know and we'll research this and get back to you next week. There were discussions about topics that I would not have talked about with my mother, much less some random church adult my parents told me to go and talk to. They were good about it. The biggest challenge we had, honestly, was that the updated high school curriculum for OWL was supposed to be ready in early 2024, and it wasn't. So Dana and Sam and I ended up like almost week by week or 2 weeks ahead, cobbling together information from the old curricula, updating it with information from the updated middle school curricula and other information. So it was kind of like laying tracks down as the train was coming. The parents knew, the kids knew. They corrected us at times, all of them. So it worked out well. What I do want to say is that OWL is a great program, and especially for the middle school and high school age groups, it's particularly important in this changing and confusing world. So I urge you to consider teaching this program. Talk to Dana if you have any interest at all. Talk to Sam, talk to me. It's a great program, and I hope to see you in class. Bye.
Robin had the task of teaching my 3 high schoolers. So I'm very appreciative of that. And I want to be clear about why I'm up here. Dana asked if any of our kids wanted to share a reflection this morning, and they all, of course, declined that invitation. And so I got the next email, and I always say yes, so here I am. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Molly Helmers, and me and my husband, Matt, have been attending the fellowship for about 14 years, and we have 3 kids in the RE program, Claire and Grace, who are graduating from Ames High this spring, and Artie, who's finishing up his sophomore year. So I thought I'd start with a question this morning. How many of you have been inspired to take a risk or do something new and different, maybe even scary, because of your children? Or a child in general, maybe that's a niece or a nephew or a neighbor kid. Maybe you've had to go down that big water slide that you weren't so thrilled to go down, or go to the top of a skyscraper and stand over a window or something when you're scared of heights. That was the case for Matt and I when it comes to religion. We were both raised Catholic, married in the Catholic Church. The kids were all baptized in the Catholic Church. And then Claire and Grace reached kindergarten age, and we found ourselves at a crossroads. We hadn't really found a church here in Ames that we felt part of, and we knew if we didn't enroll the girls in catechism that year, there were going to be some big questions. So it was a time for a heart-to-heart about our own beliefs and what we wanted for our kids. And ultimately, we agreed that Catholicism didn't fully align with our values and beliefs, and we weren't convinced that the Catholic Church was an environment in which they would thrive. So we started exploring other options, and our dear friends, Mary and Raj Raman, recommended the UUFA. And joining the fellowship was a big step for us. It was a complete 180 from where we'd been, but we decided it was the right move, and we never looked back. These 2 gave us the courage to take that leap of faith. The RE program, of course, became a central part of our UUFA experience. It's touched my life in many ways, and 3 in particular, as a parent, as a teacher, and as a member of the generosity team. The connection to RE as a parent is an obvious one. I think many of you can relate to the idea that our children are more receptive to new ideas when they come from anyone other than the parent. And I truly commend those of you who homeschool, because I knew that option was not right for us. I knew that early on. And thank goodness we did not have to memorize a book of prayers with our children, because that would have not gone well. Even if you can teach your own children, there are some topics that are just plain uncomfortable. And I am extremely grateful to the OWL instructors like Robin who tackle those awkward conversations. Through the RE program, Matt and I have been able to communicate our core values to our kids and still give them the freedom to make their own choices and have their own spiritual journey. Equally as important is the tolerance and acceptance that this community has offered. At the UUFA, our kids don't have to try to be someone other than who they are, and I'm grateful for that. My second connection to RE is as a teacher. And this started with you teach my kids and I'll teach your kids, okay? That was the deal. Fast forward 14 years and here I am. I think I've taught every class. Excuse me. For me, the 2 best parts of teaching RE are, 1, I'm constantly learning new things, which I love. As teachers, we are never expected to know everything about the lesson, and I've enjoyed learning alongside our kids over the years. Thank you. This wasn't supposed to be that hard or emotional. World religions and popcorn theology were a couple of my favorite curricula, and honestly, teaching this year with JD was fantastic with role-play games, which I knew absolutely nothing about. I could have never done that on my own. The second thing I love about teaching RE is an opportunity to meet new people. I, of course, get to connect with all the kids, which is wonderful, but I also have a built-in way to meet their families. It's an easy entry for involvement in fellowship life. Once again, I started teaching for the sake of my kids, and now I do it for me. And because Dana asks. And when Dana asks, you say yes, all right? Finally, the third connection that I have to RE is as a member of the generosity team. And I promise we are not soliciting pledges from your children. But they might be really generous, I don't know. But our RE programs are a huge reason why people give to the UUFA and give very generously. And I'm not just talking about families with kids. I'm talking about UUFA members and friends of all ages who give to this fellowship because they want these opportunities and a safe space for all of you. And all of the children and families who walk through the doors years from now. These are the members and friends who give generously to make sure we have a full-time RE coordinator, which is important. In fact, I think we should all give a round of applause for all of the members of our congregation, past and present, who contributed financially to get us to where we are today, and that's fully staffed. Matt's and my annual giving to the fellowship started out as something, again, we did for the kids. And once again, it's now part of who we are and brings us great personal satisfaction. So kids in the room, I don't know if you're catching on to this theme, but you all have some pretty magical influence over your parents and their behaviors. Sometimes you bring out the worst in us, that's true. I guarantee that's true. But oftentimes you bring out the best in us. You give us courage. And I'd say what we have created here in the RE program is definitely the best. And I wish you all a great summer.
Shine every day, anytime, when we're strong, when we're kind, we're gonna shine, we're gonna shine, lightning bugs, like a laser beam, like water lit by stars. Like the moon at night, we're a unicorn, like songs on my guitar. We're gonna shine, we're gonna shine, every day, anytime, when we're strong, when we're kind, we're gonna shine, we're gonna shine. The sun comes out and says hello to every living creature. The frogs and chicks and walking sticks, and every kid and teacher. We're gonna shine, we're gonna shine, we're gonna shine every day, anytime, when we're strong, when we're kind, shine.
Before we move into our bridging ceremony for our graduates, we want to take a moment to recognize another important milestone. We don't have a group of rising middle schoolers this year, but we do have one, and we want to celebrate Ella Emmett, who will be moving up from 5th grade into middle school this fall. Do we have a picture of Ella? No? Okay. Ella couldn't be with us this morning, but her mom is here, and we want to say how proud we are of Ella. Where are you, Shawnee? Hey. We look forward to continuing her journey in this community. All right, so as the school year draws to a close, we pause to mark a sacred transition, the journey from youth into young adulthood. This morning, we bear witness to that passage through our bridging ceremony. We call it a bridge because it invites you to step forward into something new. And yet a bridge also remains rooted on both sides. It stretches toward the future, but it also stays connected to home. I would like to invite our graduating seniors forward. Grace, Claire, and Heidi. Today we invite you to carry your Unitarian Universalist faith with you as you cross this bridge, and we hope you'll return to us often, knowing this community will always be one of your spiritual homes. Heidi Neeson will be traveling to China with her family this summer before attending Iowa State University to major in engineering with a minor in digital media. Claire Helmers will attend the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, is that correct? To study elementary and early childhood education and compete on the cross-country team. And Grace Helmers, who will be attending North Dakota State University to study veterinary technology.
Excellent. Heidi, Claire, and Grace, you have each grown far beyond the children you once were. With each passing year, you've discovered more about yourselves and your values and your voices. The wisdom and grounding that you've gained in this community will serve you well on the road ahead. May Unitarian Universalism be a compass, a comfort, and a call to justice wherever life takes you. And there's probably a fellowship or a church or a society where you're going. Seek out your tribe. We bless you now as you step into the next chapter of your lives.
So when we dedicate babies in our community, we give them roses, buds on stems with the thorns removed, to symbolize new beginnings and our desire to protect them. So today we offer you roses again, but this time the blooms are open and the thorns remain. Adulthood is rich with beauty and challenge. We no longer shield you from life, but we trust you have the tools to meet it with courage and integrity. And we also give you a chalice, a symbol of our living tradition and your place within it. Let it remind you of the values you carry and the community that helped shape you. And we're gonna light your chalices from our big chalice so that you can take the light of this community with you wherever you go.
We have been honored to share in Heidi, Claire, and Grace's journey through childhood and youth. And now we welcome them into our Unitarian Universalist community as young adults. Let us offer our blessing and support as they continue to grow in spirit, wisdom, and love. sit down just yet. We want to offer you also our blessing and support as you help us all grow in spirit, wisdom, and love. You make such a difference here in our community in the way that you help us all to bloom. And so, to that end, we offer you this blooming basket so that it can show our love to you all summer long.
Thank you.
Just set it right down. And now, if you will rise in body or spirit to sing our song, Touch the Earth, Reach the Sky, number 301 in your gray songbook, and of course the lyrics will show up right up here.
Please say together, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
So many moving parts today. I love it. I love it. It's our practice to offer gratitude at the end of our service for our musicians, Claire Ossie, Milo Bignall, the Children's Chorus, and Peggy Earnshaw, and of course Madison. Thank you so much for your music. It is wonderful that we are able to have our children and youth making music with us and seeing the results of those hours of practice. Thank you for sharing with us. We offer thanks for our tech team, for Donald Lewis and Mary Richards. I saw Titus back there just a little bit. For our facilitators, Ben Willeen and Sarah Carlson, board member Stephanie Fox, to all our readers and service participants, Robin and Molly especially, and for Dana Poss for your leadership today and always. For all the greeters and coffee servers and treat bringers and cleanup crew, for all our online participants, and to all of you. It takes all of us to make Sunday morning the kind of experience that we enjoy here. In a few moments, Peggy is going to play some sending music, and we want to let our graduating seniors go first outside so they can take a look at the beautiful cake that is out there before we all get our hands in it. No, I think somebody has cut the cake, but we want them to be able to see it first. And we can all go have cake and coffee and conversations. Beloveds, our children and youth are not our future. They are the present moment. You, young ones, and older, saltier, more seasoned ones, all of us create this vibrant congregation of action, courage, love, and imagination. Let us use our power of connection wisely and well, and always know that you are not alone. Blessed be, and go in peace.